Do you feel the vibes?
What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin coming back to another video. And if you haven't seen my previous video, I do a Microsoft E3 2017 like predictions, kind of what I expect, what I want to see. In this video, I wanted to talk about Sony's 2017 E3 press conference. Now, Sony has done a really good job this beginning of this year with their games. Horizon Zero Dawn, which I got the platinum on. Yakuza 0, which I believe is the highest selling Yakuza game. Nier Automata, Gravity Rush, Persona 5, not my type of game, but it's still a popular game despite it being, I would say, kind of niche. And it's probably one of the highest selling Persona games. I don't know exactly the sales on it. And I believe am I forgetting one? I'm probably forgetting a game or two, a game that they came out with this year, but they've done a good job, even with the games I named. That was 5 games, and just it was like the first 4 months. So they've done a really good job with on the software side, and they have quite a bit of games to announce, and I want to talk about them. Now, the big one I think is going to be Last of Us 2. Last of Us 2 is going to be the big game. We got a trailer at the end of last year, and Last of Us 1 was critically acclaimed. The remaster came out with all the DLC. The game is amazing. So expect that to be huge for the fans. The new God of War, maybe, what exactly they're going to call it. They're going to call it God of War 4, or it's going to have some other kind of name. That's going to be big. They showed God of War last year. I'm surprised to see gameplay for it. So another huge IP. Gran Turismo, not a fan of racing sims, but I get it. It is one of Sony's biggest games, despite them. I don't remember the last one that came out, but especially on the original PlayStation, it was a big IP. Days Gone. What is these made by the guys who made Sci-Fi Unfiltered back in the day, but it's back on PlayStation 1. I believe PlayStation 2. There was one that came out on PlayStation 2. Those were some good games back in the day, but it's been so long since those games. A lot of people have never even played them or heard of them. I've played them, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody say, "What the fuck is that?" But they are making Days Gone. They show gameplay for it. It looked like it was in the alpha stage. Some of the sounds, some of the movement, some of the animations looked a little bit weird, but if it was in the alpha stage, which I believe it was, seeing as of course it's not out yet, hopefully we get a more complete game. We get a release date for all these games, and what's gonna separate Days Gone from some of your other zombie games, your third person survival horror, your survival zombie games. What's gonna separate it from those? And it's gonna have to be something that's gonna separate it from those. Just if not, it's just gonna be bunched in there with your games like State of Decay, your games like Dead Rising. So we'll have to see at E3 where they show more gameplay. Hopefully the gameplay will be more polished. Spider-Man. We got like an in-game trailer last year. Spider-Man is a huge game, and it's made by Insomniac, the same guys who the latest game they came out with, I believe, was Sunset Overdrive. I like that game. So they have a good track record of making good games, and I feel as though they're going to put the effort in to make this Spider-Man game. A lot of people first heard about it, thought it was going to be a movie tie-in, because of course we have the Spider-Man Homecoming movie coming out July 7th. But this game doesn't look to be that. We don't even know if it comes out this year. We're probably going to get some more in-depth gameplay, not necessarily an in-game trailer, which, there was some gameplay mixed in there, but we're probably going to get focused gameplay and probably a release date. I think a majority of these games are going to come out next year. We probably have something that comes out this year. They're going to try to bring out something. I believe Gran Turismo is definitely going to come out this year, but I don't think Spider-Man is going to come out this year. Sucker Punch, the makers of Infamous, are also coming out with a new game. Of course, the last game was First Light, which was like a standalone expansion. It was like a standalone game with its own story, pretty much in the same universe as the Infamous games. It uses actually one of the characters that was in Infamous Second Son, Fetch, It's a good game. It was about $20 when I was around like $20 when I got it, and it's fun. I like Infamous Second Son. I think it's honestly underrated to me. A lot of people been hearing rumors about Bloodborne 2. Maybe that comes out. From Software probably kind of tired of doing this, the formula of games. Maybe want to take a break. So I don't think Bloodborne 2 is going to happen. I just think it's fans who really like the first one who really wanted it to happen. And I'm always for more games coming out. I'll never say no to games, even if I didn't really play much of Bloodborne, but from what I did play, it was pretty good. I know I got to really catch up on games. Next, Detroit Becoming Human, made by the same people who made Until Dawn, which is like a horror, in the same vein of your Telltale's games, where it's mostly story driven. But these games have really impressive graphics. It's almost, so it's like watching a movie essentially, interactive movie. You got different choices, so you can have multiple playthroughs. It's made by the same people who made Heavy Rain, which was critically acclaimed on the PlayStation 3. Not the biggest fan of those games. I play them every now and then, but I don't get extra hype for them just because it's really not much gameplay. It's mostly your choices, getting engaged in the story. It's just, I'm a fan of the story, so I'll definitely play it for that, but I don't necessarily get hype for them. And Detroit Becoming Human looks to be a game where it's going to have a bunch of different branching choices, at least from what they showed the last time they showed it. Was it last E3? I don't remember if it was last E3 that they did show it. But I do remember seeing it last year. Maybe it was PSX, PlayStation Experience. I don't remember. But they did show it, and the game looks to, it's going with the more futuristic style. So hopefully, they'll get a release date on that. And it could be a game that will possibly come out this year. I could definitely see that. You got Crash Bandicoot coming out at the end of this month. I doubt they really show anything. I think they showed enough, and the game's about to come out really soon. So at the most, they would announce like maybe Crash Team Racing remastered, completely reworked, or a new Crash Bandicoot game. Maybe Sly Cooper. I'm trying to think of some of the animated games. Spyro. The Spyro is definitely going back. Jak and Daxter, I think, will be out of all those. I would want Jak and Daxter to. I would prefer like a new game. Or they could do the same thing they did with Ratchet and Clank, and the same thing they're doing with Crash Bandicoot, just completely rework it and pretty much include every single game, including the handheld games on the PSP. That would be great. You definitely a place for those types of games. Dreams, made by the same people who made Little Big Planet. I don't know about that game. I saw it and it just doesn't interest me. There's probably some people it does interest, and I'm never gonna say that it shouldn't be made, but it's just not something. It's kind of like Splatoon. I'm not gonna say Splatoon shouldn't exist, but I have no interest in a game, a game like that. It's just that's just me. And then it's kind of weird seeing this. Oh yeah, I just talked about Crash Bandicoot. I don't know, man. Crash Bandicoot, I remember playing it. I guess it's kind of a nostalgia thing, and I get on a lot of people for nostalgia, but I'm not gonna go out and spend a boatload of money for nostalgia. The game comes out, it still plays well and everything. I'm gonna get it. If it's a game I haven't played in a long time, been playing when I was younger, yeah, I'm gonna get it. But I'm not gonna go out there and spend a bunch of money to play it. Speaking of those games, Knack 2, which was shown at PlayStation Experience last year. Knack 1 didn't do too great and launched with the PS4, but there's a lot of things they can fix. The game looked good for what they were going for, but it was mediocre. Let's just be honest. It was a mediocre game, and it's one of those games that you probably could give them a second chance with that game. And maybe they can fix all the issues that it did have, like with the variety in platforming. Ni no Kuni 2, don't care. Next. Order 1886. Now, I talked about this one in my Microsoft video, and I know I talked about a Sony game, but I mentioned that alongside Rise because I feel as though they were two games who had big time potential, but just failed in so many ways. But I think with this game, it's pretty much done. They're not gonna do much with it, at least in terms of making a new sequel. They're not gonna shut down the people that made it because those same guys who were involved with making God of War. But I just don't think this game is gonna happen. I just don't see this game happening. But the steampunk world where you got werewolves and vampires, I think that's a pretty cool concept. The game looked great. It's just outside of really that, it wasn't much effort, put into some of the other aspects. And I think they make another game, they could definitely put more effort into the other aspects. But like I said, it's a mediocre game, and I think Sony's finished with it. Did I leave out any third person? If I miss anything, just let me know down in the comment section. I'm trying to think of just about everything that, of course, got announced. Of course, I did mention the new Sucker Punch title. No idea what it's going to be. So hopefully that's going to be the big surprise coming to Sony's conference. Of course, you have your third parties. That's going to be, you're going to have your Call of Duty World War II, which a lot of people do want to see. They're probably going to show single player. They have the marketing rights with that. Destiny 2, you're going to see more of that. Battlefront, they're marketing rights with Battlefront. FIFA, maybe you'll see some kind of trailer, but that's probably going to be shown more than likely at EA's conference. Let me see. Other marketing rights. Again, I don't really remember all of them. They're third-party games. They're going to be on every platform, but that's part of the marketing deal that they have to showcase them at their conference or something about them, the exclusive content, whatever it is. Maybe one more thing, maybe we'll get kind of a price drop in the Pro, maybe a $50 price drop that could happen. And this will kind of help them compete with the Scorpio coming out. How much ever the Scorpio is going to be, $500, whatever. They're probably going to have a $50 price drop on the Pro just to kind of combat it. Or maybe it was something they'll do on the holiday. But usually a year in, it comes cheaper to make. So they could possibly do a price drop. Okay, something that I would want from Sony. I think they need I can't believe I'm fucking saying this, a first-person shooter that's like a competitive multiplayer first-person shooter. They need something like that, and they really don't have that. Xbox has Halo. Halo's not what it used to be, but it still has a really good multiplayer. Now, I'm not saying they can even make something to even compete with Halo, but I think they really need that big time multiplayer. Because I think they have every other genre. They have games in every other genre that are high quality games, but they need something like that. Or they even have third person multiplayer games. Last of Us maybe that will carry over the multiplayer, kind of expand on the multiplayer from the first one, which was actually underrated, and most people honestly didn't get it for that, but they were pleasantly surprised with its multiplayer. So we'll definitely see some third-person multiplayer. I forgot to mention, speaking of Uncharted Lost Legacy, that comes out in August. Maybe they'll show a little more gameplay of that. But like I said, a big multiplayer first-person shooter or something like that. Resistance 3 to me wasn't that good. 1 and 2, I feel as though 1 definitely had one of the better multiplayers. Hey, it reminded me of like your arcade shooters, weapon pickups and everything like that. Maybe they can do that. Killzone, I think those guys are done with Killzone. Horizon Zero Dawn was great. I think we're gonna get DLC for that. Speaking of that game, like stuff is coming to me as I'm continuously talking. But maybe they need a new IP. I don't tell them what Sucker Punch working on. You gotta remember, the guys that made Killzone, the guy that made Horizon the only other games worked was a first-person shooter in Killzone, completely different from the game that came out with this year that is going to be in the talks as one of the top games. So that'll definitely it'll definitely be interesting to see if they can bring out a game like that, you know, a big-time multiplayer first-person shooter. Like I said, I can't believe I'm saying that, but I think for the most part, that's really the only thing that they're missing is that big multiplayer game. I forgot to mention Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't think it may be there because I'm pretty sure they got a marketing deal with Sony because GTA 5 had one. But I don't think it's going to be there, especially seeing as it's been delayed. But maybe we'll get something. It'd be nice to get some gameplay because we didn't get any gameplay. You know, they showed like, well, you did get some gameplay, but people want some in-depth gameplay of you going around shooting shit. What's new? Of course, the graphics are going to be sick. So maybe we'll see that. And of course, they're going to have some VR crap. You know, I'll say what I said in the Microsoft thing about that rumored VR crap. We know Sony's going to show VR crap. I don't care about it. Just, you know, the support for it. There are some good games out there. RE7 is probably one of the better games, VR games out there. At least from what I've seen. I don't have VR too much money to really invest in it. You know, Sony's VR is the cheapest, and it's still $300-$400, but it's $400. That's just, and it's not enough support to me, not enough quality support for it for me to, you know, go out and even consider buying it. But let me know what you think down in the comment section. What do you think Sony's gonna show? What game out of some of the games I've named? What do you really want to see out of some of the games I've named? Of course, if it's something I didn't name, you know, let me know down in the comment section. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Thanks for watching.